Welcome to the JJ's Declutter podcast, where we tackle the mess and stress to make space for what truly matters. I'm Janis, here with Julie, and together we're sharing our best tips, tricks, and a little humor to help you declutter your home, mind, and life. Whether it's procrastination or piles of stuff, we're here to help you make real progress. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the JJ's Declutter podcast. Today, we're bringing you a special replay of one of our favorite magazine moments, preparing for the 4th of July.
This year's celebration feels especially meaningful as our nation begins commemorating the 250th anniversary of the United States, a milestone that reminds us of traditions, gatherings, and memories that connect generations.
As Independence Day rolls around, it's the perfect time to revisit some simple, practical ways to get your home and spaces ready without the stress or last-minute scramble.
Whether you're hosting family and friends, heading out to a community celebration, or simply enjoying a quiet day at home, this episode is packed with easy, intentional steps to help you feel prepared, organized, and present for the festivities.
So grab your favorite patriotic treat, settle in, and enjoy this replay of magazine moments preparing for the 4th of July.
Now let's jump into today's replay.
Okay, to the JJ's Declutter podcast. We're going to talk today prep for the 4th of July. If you are able to watch us, Janis has these awesome pinwheels that are 4th of July pinwheels, and they are going right now. So it's worth it. So today we are going to use an article from thisoldhouse.com, and it is how to prep for the 4th of July. And we're doing our magazine moments, but we are not going to pick this one apart like we usually do, because we really
maybe once.
Well, or twice.
Or twice, yeah.
And we will add our own things into it also for you. But it's basically just giving you kind of a checklist to go through before the 4th of July. And with that, we are, let's see, Janis, you want to talk about the display your patriotic home stuff?
Sure will. Okay, so when you display your patriotic home decorations for the 4th of July, you want to make sure that you're displaying a flag correctly if you're displaying the American flag, because these are the following rules that you should keep in mind. 1, the flag should be illuminated if flown at night. 2, never let the flag touch the ground. 3, display the flag with the Union, the blue field, at the peak of the staff, so facing up. And when hanging vertically, the Union should be at the top left.
Gotcha.
And if you want more proper flag etiquette, Google it, right? There are all these different things. But other types of decoration beyond the flag are hanging red, white, and blue bunting from your porch or deck railings. You can create centerpieces with white flowers and blue vases, get stars and be creative. If you want to just use what you have at home, be creative. If you want to purchase things, if they're relatively inexpensive, I would purchase them and then get rid of them. I would not necessarily store them over the season, but hanging strings of red, white, and blue lights around your outdoor entertainment, I think that would look really cool too. So let us know what you like to do.
Right. And one of the things to keep in mind this year is that a lot of people are hanging their flags upside down, which is a notice that help is needed. So and a lot of people have been doing that. So when you see them and they are upside down, that's what that's about. They're It's their little political thing. And so it's okay to do it however you feel. And it is your country, and you can do whatever you want. We usually use red, white, and blue to decorate,
Yeah.
but then we started adding a little bit of gold and stuff in gold
Oh,
and
yeah.
silver into it because it looks kind of like fireworks. so so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, balloons, all sorts of different things that you can use, especially if your kids do bicycle parades. You get the crepe paper and you run it through the wheels of the bike, and they go round, and it looks really pretty, and all sorts of different things you can do.
Right, right.
So,
So
Julie, how do you
let's
prep the outdoor entertainment space? Because if you're going to be outdoors,
most people will be. So if you're creating a comfortable and inviting space for your gathering, that's what everybody's goal is. You want it to feel inviting and you want them to be comfortable. Some people like to mingle inside to avoid the heat, but the 4th of July brings most people outside. So there's two elements to kind of consider when you're setting up your outdoor space. And you want to have like a casual seating area. And a well-planned seating area encourages, just relaxed conversation, lounging around. You can arrange chairs and benches in small groupings so that people will, it'll encourage conversating, having conversations. And a different mix of seating options, like folding chairs or picnic blankets, outdoor sofas. You can have side tables or small folding tables. We have just used wooden crates before as side tables next to people. It is nice for everyone, if they are sitting, to have somewhere to set their drink, whether
mhm,
it's, their drink or their plate. But it's always good that every seat in the yard is within arm's reach of being able to set something down. And you can create shade with umbrellas, pop up canopy so that people,
mhm,
can be in the shade. It also can be helpful to have a fan outside just to keep the air
mhm,
moving. If there is no air or breeze moving, it really does help cool people down that way. And you want to try to arrange the seating so that you have a view of any planned activities that are going on. If you're having, gunny sack races or whatever. So you want to be able to have that, or watching fireworks displays. And then, you can also, one of the things, because this is an article by This Old House, they're also
this,
telling us that we can build a class picnic
yeah,
table.
when I saw that, I said, no.
No.
They want you to build a durable picnic table, or purchase one, or borrow one, or just do a folding table.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny because they're like, to build a durable picnic table, we recommend using rough-sawn cedar, which is naturally decay and insect resistant. With proper care, a homemade picnic table can last for years, providing a gathering place for many 4th of July celebrations. That is from This
Yeah.
Old House. That is a gift to you from This Old House. So yeah, they even have that, you can click and get a guide on how to build it. But yeah, we're not doing that. We use old card tables. We have, collapsible tables and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
We're not going to mess around with the picnic table.
Let's talk about preparing your 4th of July menu. And I think that if your guests are not traveling further than, I don't know, 45 minutes, it's kind of nice to share the responsibilities of having some of the sides and things like that. So, you might want to, if you're doing steaks or hamburgers or hot dogs, you say, I'll provide the meat. If you want to bring a dish, but make sure you find out what they're going to bring and let them know how many people are going to be there.
Mm,
So if you're having 20 people, they don't bring enough just for six. They bring a little
right,
bit more. And so you might want to let them know, can you try and bring enough for 10?
right.
Right? That type of a thing.
And we use those little mesh covers because we get a lot of, you got flies, bees, whatever. And so we'll put little mesh covers over things. And you want to make sure that you have things sitting in an ice bath that,
Yeah.
especially like potato salad, macaroni salad, things that have like mayonnaise and all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that you do have those on ice, because that's food safety. Um, and the other thing that I would say before we go on with a little bit more of this, pay attention to the person who is doing the actual grilling, because so many times it's usually the man of the house. Don't know why, but there you go. Um, and they're stuck at the grill. Well, everybody else is over there, over somewhere else in the yard. And so that person is all by themselves at a hot grill on a hot day. And, go over and spritz them with water and have a conversation, and just try to remember the person at the grill, because that is what I have noticed over the last, well, decades of my life, is that usually the person standing at the grill is alone, and they are over and away from
A
everybody and what
party.
they're doing.
Yeah.
So try to keep that in mind. But speaking of grill, there is safety things that you do need to do. Um, just, it's annual thing that we do. Actually, my husband cleans the grill more often than that, but
Yeah.
you
I
want to
clean
make
the grill
sure,
before I use it. Don't
yeah.
always clean it after, but I would clean it before you use it. You heat it up, you clean it off before you put the food on it. Yeah.
And it talks about cleaning the grates thoroughly, and I really do suggest not using the metal brushes, because they will lose little metal pieces
And
that
they'll
can
go in
get
your
in
food.
your food, and that can be devastating to
You
someone.
know
You
what
don't want to.
works really well is if you cut a lemon and you stick it on a tong and you rub it like this.
Uh-huh. So
And
you
it
rub it back and forth on the
back and
grill.
forth and it sort of grills it at the same time, but it's cleaning it off the surface, and so you see all the char and stuff that on the top of it.
You do
So
that on a hot grill.
I do it on a
So
hot grill.
you heat it up, and then the lemon,
Yep, and then the
that
lemon,
lemon.
and then and then it burns a little bit more stuff off, and
Hmm.
then you're supposed to get like paper towels, put oil on it, and oil your grill.
Interesting. So, all right. So you're going to clean your grates thoroughly. You're going to check for gas leaks if you have a gas grill. Inspect your burners for clogs or damage. Clean out the grease trap. Test the ignition system if it has a push button ignition. And, honestly, there are so many different kinds of grills out there now. You're going to have to look up your own kind of grill. Sorry, but you're going to, because there are pellet grills, there are charcoal
Oh
grills,
yeah.
there are the gas grills. So
There's
there's all,
smokers, there's this, there's all sorts of
right.
stuff.
So
But
just know your own equipment, and just make it clean.
but
So
it does talk about storing the fuel that you're going to use if you're not using a gas, like a propane tank. Although if you're storing propane tanks, they should outdoors, it needs to be in a well ventilated area. It
mhm,
talks about storing charcoal and wood in a cool, dry place,
mhm,
and to keep these things away from heat sources and out of direct sunlight.
right.
And you might want to even put it in an airtight container to prevent them from absorbing moisture.
Oh,
And
the briquettes.
the
Gotcha,
briquettes, because
gotcha.
when they're damp, they really don't light very well. And it says never store fuel indoors or in an enclosed space because of the gases that can come off of it.
So the other thing to think about while you're doing this, the fuel storage, is so many of us have like torches with citronella oil that we might use. That is also a fuel that should not be stored like inside in an enclosed space. That is also something that should be outside. And we have a separate little shed, so we keep our things there. And the propane tank we leave it on the grill, so it just stays with the grill. And we get to come up with a few ideas, unique barbecue ideas, because it's not just burgers and hot dogs on the 4th of July. They are the
Mm,
staples, but other people may have different preferences or dietary restrictions. So do you have some ideas for that, Janice? The
Yeah, they're talking about having grilled vegetable skewers for your vegetarian guests. Another one, not just a skewer, but corn on the cob that you grill. I would probably pre-cook it in the microwave before you throw it on the grill, or else it takes forever. So that's just what I found. But anyways, cedar plank salmon is a healthy option.
Yeah, and we've
If
done that a
you
few times.
you want to, you barbecue chicken pizza that you cook directly on the grill. That could be fun.
Yeah,
Even grilled fruit is a nice dessert. So, or, if you really want to get into barbecuing with the ribs and all that other stuff, charcoal smokers will add the depth and the flavor to your meats. Um, you have a lot of options. You can actually sous vide your meat before, so all you're doing is grilling it. So they're already at temp internally, and you just get the grill marks on it. So that's an easy way to prevent your griller from being stuck at the grill, but still having nice, nicely cooked food.
right, right. And one of the things to keep in mind too is if you're doing like shish kebabs, meat is
Cook,
on its own skewers than the
yes,
vegetables because they cook at different times.
yeah.
So you're going to just absolutely demolish the vegetables if you're cooking it with the meat and the meat's not getting to temp yet, and now the peppers are on fire.
And here's a
I
pro
mean, not
tip.
that I've seen that in my own yard.
Here's a pro tip. Rather than putting the vegetables on the skewer, put them in a grill basket or a pan on the grill and grill them separately from the meat. That's what I started doing. And
So
it's
rather
so
than
much.
putting the skewer through, you do it more almost like a
I
stir
just
fry kind of thing. You
Yeah,
basically just
exactly. But it
gosh.
grills nicely, and you can
Mhm.
and you can cook your mushrooms to the way you want it. You can cook your, like, bell peppers the way you want it, your onions the way you want it, and then just have people take it at the end, and your meat
Right,
on the skewers. That's what
right.
we've I because I think I have 3 grill pans.
Yeah, we have one. We do have those mats that you can get, grilling mats to put
Yeah,
on. And so we use those a lot because especially like if you're doing like chicken, it keeps it moisture because it's not all dripping off. And so the juices stay there. And it obviously it makes it much easier to clean up
yeah.
afterwards. But yeah, we really like to do that kind of thing to keep it good.
So Julie,
So
you want to talk about bugs that you might have at this outdoor gathering?
what we have started doing the last few years is planting mosquito repelling
Hmm.
herbs. So we have lavender, um, marigolds. There's also citronella plants, and there's others that you
Peppermint, mint,
peppermint. Mhm.
those things.
And so one of the things that I kind of like with some of those is if you do, for instance, a lavender bush, which always look beautiful in the yards, but you can put it in a pot. And so you can actually, if you have a couple of
Move
them
it
in a pot,
around.
in pots, then you can move them to where you're going to be having your party. And then that'll keep some of those bugs. We use citronella candles and torches, which kind of helps make a perimeter if you keep them, towards the outside. And you can set up fans to keep the air moving. And it also keeps people, even if it's hot, if you have some breeze, it's going to make it a little cooler. So it not only keeps you cool, but it also keeps the mosquitoes away because they are
Hmm.
very weak flyers. Um, and eliminate in your yard. You want to eliminate any standing water because the mosquitoes it only takes them 24 hours and there they are. And so that is some of the stuff about those kinds of spots. And then you get to the foods. And that's, like I said, we use those mesh food tent things. And you can use yellow bug lights outdoors instead of white because they attract fewer insects. And that was something new that I hadn't realized. And it's good if you have a lot of bugs in your area at that time of year. It's nice to have maybe a screened in tent or a screened in area so that people can get away from the bugs too.
Mm-hmm.
If it's, especially like with our family, we have, the ages from 90 down to 1. And so it's nice for the elders and the babies to be able to hang out and play in the screened in tent, and that they don't get all bit up. And then you've got those different generations mixing, and it's just so cool. So that is worth celebrating on the 4th. So Janice, what about outdoor games, activities?
You want to keep everybody entertained. The adults will probably just be yakking, but some of the classic era games that everyone can enjoy are cornhole or beanbag toss, which is very popular right now. I didn't
Yeah.
know what cornhole was until,
Oh,
I think I was introduced to it like 9, 10 years ago.
yeah.
Horseshoes is
Mhm.
always fun. Giant Jenga, uh, something called ladder ball. I'm not sure what ladder ball is.
Ladder ball is, you have a stand that stands about 3 feet tall. Some are bigger, but and they have about 9 inches apart. They have bars that go through round, you know, dowels. So it looks like a ladder. And then the balls are attached. There's 2 balls attached to a string, and then you throw them and you try to wrap the balls around, and you
So
get
like
different
bolo
points.
things. They're
Yeah.
like those things. Okay.
Yeah.
Croquet is another one. Or, you can sometimes put play structures there, obstacle courses, put tires or wooden planks. A backyard bowling alley type of thing would be kind of fun. And a giant outdoor tic-tac-toe board, or just pull out the sprinkler. I mean,
Hmm.
okay, so we had this discussion. My kids, I actually thought about it. I think they have played in the sprinkler 3 or 4 times where I've actually seen them run through the sprinkler.
Wow.
But um water balloon toss, that's always fun for the 4th of
Hmm.
July. Let's get them away from the digital devices and get
Hmm.
interaction going. Maybe even board games or card games. Those can be fun too.
Cribbage is a big one in our family. Well, not in my house, but in our family, cribbage is a big thing. So there's always cribbage boards around. And yes, I do have cribbage boards and cards because I have to. So that is a fun one. We also bring out the darts and hang it outside the garage, and so they can stand there and throw darts. It's not the lawn darts of our childhood, but so and it can be just a lot of fun, and you can let the kids play in the water, and the adults can play in the water.
Yeah.
My grandfather, my father-in-law, would take his lawn chair and he would put it in the middle of the kiddie pool, sit there with his feet in the water, and the little kids play around. So
Oh.
adorable. But it was all about him, which the kids just loved, was with us. So that can be fun too.
Ensuring a safe fireworks experience on the 4th of July. So, Julie, you want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. Fireworks are typically the highlight of the 4th of July celebrations. Safety should always be top priority. I cannot tell you, and I'm sure you all are aware of the stories that have gone on for decades of people who have lost their homes because somebody over there decided they were going to have fireworks when they were told not to. If it is illegal in your town, please don't do it. Um, there are pets and vets that really have a hard time with fireworks. So I just ask that you try to do quieter things and stop at a reasonable hour. I know it's exciting and you're partying and all that kind of stuff, but it's I have seen so many pets terrorized by that, but I had not until 2 years ago seen a vet that was terrorized by it, and it broke my heart, and it was not okay. This poor man, it just was too much. So try to keep those things in mind. And Do your stuff on the 4th. That doesn't mean start today and practice.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean
no
keep
kidding.
going until
Yeah,
August
it's
1st.
like a 2 week period
Yeah.
of people, launching fireworks where I live. And it's not legal where I live either. I live in Southern California where fire is a very high risk because
Yeah.
I'm not in the
Extreme.
country and it's dry. So alternatives to traditional fireworks, because in a lot of places shooting your own off is not legal, is to attend a professional firework display that is in your community. And it's kind of
And
fun.
most communities have them.
We have a street fair. So they close off the street between the lake and the park where they usually set off the fireworks, and
Mhm.
they they have food trucks and all this other stuff, and people go down there and they mingle, and then people will set up their chairs and watch the firework display. um, you can use glow sticks and LED light ups for the nighttime light show. um, when I was a kid, we always had sparklers. And Julie and I were talking about this earlier, and the big thing for us was to write our names in the air with the
Yes.
sparkler. But there was one time where we went over to a friend's house and they had a long semicircular driveway in front of their house, and we played the Olympics where we were all running with our own torch. So that was a lot of fun. Um, and
And they're
another,
not the metal ones like we grew up with. It was
are they
metal
wooden?
with
Yes, I
the
remember
other
the
wood
metal
cap.
ones.
Yeah, it was metal. And so it'd get down and then it'd burn
And
you.
burn, yeah, it'd be hot.
That
And
was
then
a really safe thing to give your children.
project a fireworks video on an outdoor screen. That can be a substitution.
You can get all kinds of programs like that. You
Yes.
can just pull them right off YouTube.
And the newest thing I think is to go to see the drone shows, because some of the communities are getting away from the traditional firework displays because of
Right,
noise, because of fire risks and all that other stuff.
right, right.
Julie, what do you remember about 4th of July?
Probably the biggest thing that I remember, we would go up to my parents had a place in the mountains, and we would go up and we would spend the day skiing and swimming and running around in the boats. We had kayaks and canoes and all that, kind of stuff around. Um, and getting to play with the summer folk, I guess you'd call it. It's like we only saw these people in the summer because they had a place up there too or whatever. And so that was always really cool. But we always did our fireworks at the end of the dock at the water, and we would point the bottle rockets. Oh, I loved little bottle rockets. And we would point them down into the water and they'd go. It was so cool. So then you'd see the bubbles of smoke come up. So that's
Yeah,
kind of what I remember.
we never really had the big ones that went up into the air.
Right.
We were safe and sane fireworks. I
Right.
remember
And
that.
it is so important that people really, really pay attention to how flammable nature is. And so, be prepared. Have your hose there.
There we go.
Have
Yeah.
it turned on with one of those nozzles that it won't go unless push it. But have your water ready. Have buckets there, because if something happens, it happens fast. And so that's a good thing just to keep in mind.
And you should probably have a towel ready so you can dunk it and put it on if it gets on somebody.
Right, right. Yeah. So keep all your digits. You don't need new fingers this
I
year.
just keep thinking of all these videos that you see on social media of, the firework that went wrong and it, went and blew up something in somebody's neighbor yard, or it
Right,
caught that house on fire. I mean, you always see these. I mean, it's just like Christmas. At Christmas, you see the Christmas trees that catch fire. During the
right.
4th of July, you all of a sudden start seeing all these fireworks gone wrong things.
We live by quite a few Indian reservations, and so there is all kinds of fireworks that are okay there, but illegal here. But people go and buy them and bring them here. So Um,
I think that happens everywhere.
it
And
does. It
it's
does.
always, it's like, well, why is it legal in a county over when they know they're selling to people who are going to bring it over here?
Right. All
But I
right.
think that's the end of the article.
It is. So have a fabulous 4th of July.
Yes.
Make sure you tell us what you're going to do to celebrate. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook at ABC Declutter with JJ Community. And then we're on YouTube, ABC Declutter with JJ. We've got this podcast that you're listening to right now, the JJ's Declutter Podcast. We are just all over the place. So party with us. All righty. Other than that, keep it simple.
Keep it intentional.
And as always,
Keep decluttering. We're done.
to get that straight yet.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us on the JJ's Declutter Podcast. If you're ready to keep simplifying, follow us for more tips and join our Facebook community to share your wins and challenges. Subscribe here because it's always more fun to declutter with friends. And thanks in advance for leaving us a review.